Call the meeting to order and rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry for the technical difficulty. First item tonight would be opportunity for questions and comments from the public. Any questions or comments? Yes.
I live on Garden Avenue, 250. My name is Catherine Kenny, and I've resided on Garden Avenue for 60-some years. I am here to appeal to council about the Keith Valley Middle School project. Last year, we put up with the Dust Bowl. I ate dust, breakfast, lunch, and dinner because of the project. I appealed to the code enforcer many times. I called the township manager and left notes and messages saying, you know, why do I have to put up with this? This is not 1959. I was there when the school was built originally, and we ate dust then. This was 2023, and I felt that I should not be eating dust anymore. I also texted Mr. Lynch. I said to him, you need to get more trucks here. You know, he had one small truck for his project of keeping all the dust down. He said to me, oh, yeah, okay, well, I'll find someplace closer. How far was he going to get the water? I have no idea. I finally said to him, you need to get 2 trucks. Oh, okay, I'll get 2 trucks. But now, when he needs that water to get his concrete sealed and keep it wet so it can be worked, those trucks are up there now. But I ate dust last year, and so did my neighbors. We shouldn't have had to. Now my problem is that now it's getting to be nice, and it's summertime. They are there at 6:30 in the morning, starting to work. When I left my house at 7:40, they were still out there working. I got a note from the school board that said they were to work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and they're still working. I have rights. I have the right to be peace and quiet. I have the right to have a safe environment to live in. I pay my taxes. I feel that something should be done, and I'm appealing to the council to do something. I've tried everybody else. I've texted Mr. Lynch. I even sent him a photo of the guys working tonight saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. He has not answered me. So somebody needs to do something. I don't have to live like this, and neither do my neighbors. They also play obnoxious music. I'm not somebody who curses, but the music is using the F word a lot. We have kids in our neighborhood. If I had young children that I did not want to have them hear that kind of language, what am I going to do? Keep my kids in all summer? I understand they want to play music. I understand that. But let it be something that is not vulgar, as my mother would say. You know, I think it should be something more appropriate for being in a neighborhood. You know, this is not a development that has nobody around it. This, when, you know, you knew that this was going to be a commercial building being built in a residential neighborhood. And I think some restrictions should have been applied, and they haven't been. And I think that, you know, as I said, I have my rights too. I understand they need to get stuff done. But if they're using poor time management, and that's why they're working there till 7:30 at night or 8 o'clock, that's not my problem. That's their problem. They need to do something about that. They're allowed to be there on Saturdays too, and they are sometimes. So what, I get 1 day a week? I should have peace and quiet from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I deserve that. And I deserve not to be eating dust again this summer. So, I'm appealing to you.
Well, I know that we've been involved in this before. Would you care to comment, Bill?
Yeah, you are correct, Ms. Kennedy. It's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Correct.
You are correct. So I will give the superintendent a call tomorrow, as well as Ms. Lynch, notify our code enforcement, and we will enforce the hours. We will enforce the hours on them.
Because my sister even texted Mr. Lynch one time and said to him, you know, it's 5:30 in the morning. They're up here working. And he said, oh, no, not my people. She said, well, then the next time that I hear them up there, I'll call the police because somebody is stealing from you. And he said, oh, that was my guy's. You know, I think he needs to be fined. That's my opinion. Hit him where it hurts. That's the way I feel. You know, just saying slap on the wrist, that doesn't do anything to him. He doesn't care. He really just doesn't care. This is just a project for him. And as I said when they were building this, we live there. And I've sent him that note many times. I live here. You know, at the end of the day, you go home. I still stay. So please, please do something. Thank you.
And I would also, I don't know if you have been, but I would also encourage you to go to a school board meeting too.
I went to school board meetings. They don't comment to you at all. So, you know, when you're talking to them, you know, nobody comes to you later and says, oh, we'll handle that. I didn't get any feedback from them when I talked to them.
Okay.
You know, so
Well,
that's why I'm appealing to you.
Yeah.
Because I feel that as a township, you know, you do a lot of projects, you know, and so, you know, we need to set a standard for our township that we don't put up with this. You know, if you have certain hours and you have to do certain things, you get it done in that time or you quit. You know, you take care of the dust. There was a project I saw on the Turnpike where they had a big mound of dirt last summer. They had that covered. There was no dirt blowing. You know, that was on the Turnpike. There was nothing near there. You know, he knew going into this project that this is a neighborhood. But it just didn't seem to matter. So that's why I'm appealing to you now.
We will enforce it.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yep.
Good evening. My name is Sean McLaughlin. I live at 1168 Limekiln Pike. It's a boundary property to the Regency at Waterside, which is a toll development across from the cemetery. And the reason I'm here is I wanted to voice some concerns. I have a side boundary with the development as well as a rear boundary with the development. My side boundary would be about 500 feet, and the rear boundary is about 200 feet. And I'm concerned about the stormwater management. I'm coming here to appeal to council, to the township, and also the township engineer to take a look at that. We have been inundated, literally inundated with water. For our entire property has been inundated with water, as well as the side going from the corner all the way down to Limekiln Pike, which is directly across from the cemetery. I am concerned because the development's only about halfway finished, from what I understand. It has more roads that I believe are probably going to be placed there. There's going to be more driveways put there, more trails, basically a lot more impervious surface that will most undoubtedly affect the stormwater and probably make an intolerable situation at our house that much more worse. I wanted to also give you just a little idea about the situation that we have had to deal with for the last 2 years. It's a couple of there's about 4 photographs. There's 2 that are a couple of bits of our backyard. Like I said, this problem is covering our entire property, which is 2.5 acres. And we've lived here about 20 years. We're going on 20 years. And like I said, this problem has just begun since this development and the stormwater. And I guess whenever this, I just would like, and I'd ask the engineer in particular to really look at the situation over here because I'm very concerned about it. Like I said, I have the 2 photographs of our backyard, but then you can also see some of the problems that are going towards Limekiln Pike, where I believe there's going to be a stormwater facility by the town. I don't know if the township is doing that, or if there's others, or if Toll Brothers is doing it, but that's another thing I'm a little worried about. But if I can pass give them to you. And you can
I know code enforcement's been meeting with you on some of this, right?
We met, I contacted
Mike Shinton.
Mr. Garten in like 2022, April of 2022, and I still am waiting for a response from him. But I did talk to Miss Jeff and
Tanazio.
thank you very much, a couple of weeks ago, as well as a representative of from Toll, yes. And they're doing something in the back and along the side yesterday and today, but I'm not sure what that is, and maybe the town engineer can speak to what's going on back there right now, because I don't know.
While you were talking, I was pulling up emails from February of 2024 between Township Code Enforcement and our office, and Jeff represents the Township Engineer's office, so I know I have not personally been out there, but they have noted there's some small standing water, but no one has seemed to see the problems that you're describing.
Okay, just take a look at a couple of those photographs. That just gives you an inkling of what's going on.
And actually, 2 weeks ago, Toll Brothers and the township engineer ploughed through the water with us and actually laughed and didn't understand what we were talking about. So, and as Bill, you know, we've come in 100 times and we just kept pushed down the road. We've been here for 20 years, we don't know yet a thing. But this is hell with a mess in our backyard.
Yeah, well,
I think a very easy fix.
We're just appealing to the township, and like I said, the township council and the engineers to get involved, that's all.
And did you have a meeting with Mike Shinton?
He was at the site on, I think it was February 23rd.
Okay.
And then we met, and then Jeff was there from the engineer's office, Gilmore, and also on March 7th, Gilmore's representative was there.
And where do they sort of, with those meetings, where were things left? I'm just not
I'm
familiar.
not,
so
I
I'm-
actually, I'm thinking, this is the part I guess I'm confused about. I think Toll was talking to Gilmore. But I received an email from Toll telling me what they were planning on doing, but again, I'm not sure what that means, like grading the rear of the property and clearing, doing some clearing on the side. I don't know what that means, and I was hopeful that the engineer would basically be able to give us a little bit more detailed explanation of that.
The only thing I can tell you is what they have reported back to me, that like they believe that there's some standing water on your property that predates the development, which were some of those pictures, and that there is a swale between your property and theirs that they do believe needs some additional grading to occur. Toll's meeting with you, we're meeting with you, we hear you, we're working with you. We don't have like the solution to tell you right now.
Okay, but I just want you to understand that those pictures that I just showed you were not pre-development, they were March 23rd. 3 weeks ago.
I understand those pictures were from March 23rd. Thank you.
So we're going to be reaching out to you and continue to work on the issues.
Thank you. I really just need the township's help. That's all. And like I said, the council's help, solicitors' help, the engineers' help, and your help, Mr. Walker.
And just to answer your other question is, yes, out front there along Limeco Pike is a detention basin that isn't built yet. That was planned with the original land development, the whole land development of the site. But the basin actually isn't for the site. They have their stormwater, they meet all their stormwater requirements on site. That basin, they gave the land to the township for the basin as part of our intersection improvement. So DEP requires us, as you increase impervious surface with additional lanes of road at the intersection, that we have to control, the percentage of increased impervious coverage. And so there's 3 basins being constructed for the intersection improvement, and that's one of them in front of the Regency along Limeco Pike.
Because, yeah, I'm really concerned about this, because on the development plans, the plans that were approved in, I think at the last, they were November 23rd plans of 2023. I think they were approved in December, the final development plans by Toll. If you look at them, That's not what's on the field, and what's on the field is not working. So if they work on paper, that's great, but if they're not working in practicality, in reality, then that's a bad situation. And I see Limekiln Pike already with a lot of water, and you're telling me that they're going to expand the road, which would increase more of the runoff, the water runoff coming onto that area of Limekiln Pike, and my neighbor, Collies, it's already running onto their property as it stands, and it's backing up all the way up to the end of my property. So these are like major concerns that I think, because in light of what you just told me, that the township engineer really has to look at.
Bill, just for my benefit, didn't you just say as part of your explanation that there are additional basins that are yet to be built?
All three are not built yet.
So there will be additional basins built. I realize that doesn't help your problem today, but there are more basins coming that should help your problem.
They're not for our house. They're not for around our property,
But-
they're for a different project.
That's true. I mean,
They're not gonna
I
have
don't know
my
if that
property.
one on the Regency will help or not.
You're talking about the one at the corner of their property? Yeah, that is for the intersection improvements. That's
Right.
draining the road widening of Limekiln Pike. That project is, I know we have land on the Toll Brothers property that we got, but that basin is for the township's intersection project. It is not affiliated with the Toll Brothers
None of the
project.
basins that he just talked about are going to help their property.
No, but it'll address the additional impervious with the intersection project, but yes, it's not related to the Regency.
Well, I'm really concerned about this water, it's coming through the toll development onto our property, and then there's other water that's coming down that's going towards Limekiln Pike. And getting back to the development plan, on that plan, there's no inlet. They have some sort of head wall, I guess. I'm not sure, end wall, that's where the water comes in from the street. But then there's nowhere for the water to go on the plan.
I'd have to look at the plan.
Yeah, I mean,
So we'll follow up with you.
Okay, I just
Well-
want to make sure, I'm really hopeful that I'm here to appeal to all of you to help us. And I think in the end, help all Horsham Township, it's not just us, that I think this stormwater is going to affect.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
thank you.
we'll reach out to you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Anybody else? Any other questions or comments? All right, then we'll move on. Sean, I think you wanted to make a comment?
Yes, as council knows, the Miracle Field had their annual opening day 5K and 1 mile fun walk, and we also had our groundbreaking ceremony. I just wanted to take a moment to thank council, Bill as the township manager, the chief in the back, and all the township support that we got to make that go off without a hitch. It was a great event. We had around 150 people, 150 participants, including some of our council members with a sticker on her water. So it's just, I really appreciate all the work, and it just goes to show the work that our Parks and Recs department puts in throughout the year, because this was probably one of the first events of the year, aside from the Freezer 5K, and the trail was in fantastic shape. There was no issues, even with all the rain we had this week. There were no issues with any washout. So really thankful with the continual support of council, the work that Bill puts in to coordinate any efforts that we need, the chief in the back and all the volunteers that help in this community to make our events go as well as they do. So thank you.
Okay. So next would be to announce the public open house for the proposed village district zoning for the Prospectville area of Horsham Township will be held on Monday, April the 29th, 2024, from 6 to 8 p.m. in the community center. Bill, do you have some comments on that?
No, just that we'll be advertising that starting this Friday to the general public, that we already, every property owner that's in the proposed zoning district and the Kingswood Estates neighborhood adjacent and contiguous to the zone, that's about 55 total property owners. They were already mailed a letter, first-class mail, about the open house, inviting them to the open house. And then the rest we'll put on our website and social media on Friday.
Okay, great. Thank you. We have a motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next would be the treasurer's report.
Balance in the general fund as of March 31st, 2024 is $4,520,721.04. For the most part, both the receipts and the expenditures in the general fund reflect normal activity for March. Revenues in the general fund are at 44.15% of budget, and expenditures are at 23.10% of budget. For a more detailed presentation of our current financial position, I would refer you to your monthly booklet.
Motion to pay the bills.
Just to point out 3 checks that are unique this month. One of them in the amount of $139,267.60 is for the ADA ramp project that occurred at Meeting House and Moreland. Most of that project was done in 2023, but it carried into 2024, and that is the bill for the project. The other one is a right-of-way acquisition for the Limekiln Pike Horsham Road intersection project in the amount of $43,500. And the final one, we replaced all of our, they were of age, all of our AEDs that our police officers carry, and in our facilities and in our buildings, in the amount of almost $41,000. So those are 3 amounts that are, and all were in the township budget, 2024 budget.
I move to approve the list of checks in all funds in the amount of $805,081.72, and further move to authorize payment of the same. I move to ratify the U.S. Bank credit card transactions for the month of March 2024 in the amount of $28,820.62.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, we need to review the subdivision and land development plan for Alfred and Annette Giuliani, 1151 West County Line Road, 24-01-S. This is a preliminary final review.
And as the chairman president just said, this is preliminary final. It's a minor subdivision. The applicant is here this evening with Mr. Tilford. Gary, if you want to come up to the table and turn one of the mics on that you're in front of, and they are here to review. This is a preliminary final review. It's for a very minor subdivision plan. In your packets, you have their list of waivers, which includes 2 waivers from our ordinance, and I will turn it over to Gary Tilford.
Hi, good evening. Glad to be here with you. As Mr. Walker said, we have basically a 2-lot subdivision that's proposed on County Line Road. The overall tract of land is about 10 acres, and they're looking to create a building site for one of their sons. The building lot that's shown has 200 foot of frontage, 350 feet deep, or about 1.6 acres roughly. It's in the R2 zoning district, and the unique part of the proposal is that they're proposing to utilize the existing driveway entrance for both lots. And, they're proposing provide a easement for access, so there will not be a second or a new driveway on the state highway. We are asking for 2 items of relief as far as waivers that show all existing conditions within 400 feet of the property. We did provide a aerial photograph. We do provide all the utilities that are immediately in front of the property in the vicinity. And the second is, this is a state highway. It's been recently improved again, asking for a waiver of the curb and sidewalk requirements for streets in the subdivision. Other than that, comments by the engineer, the landscape architect, county, and the fire marshal. We propose to comply with those conditions, some of that which is to design a stormwater management system for the proposed house on Lot 2, provide pull-off areas in the driveway to the satisfaction of the fire marshal. Street trees, if needed, or to provide the documentation of the maybe existing trees that might comply with the requirements as a street tree, and protection of, an outline of what existing trees on site will be disturbed and protection, construction protection. That's essentially everything that's involved with this. We have some engineering yet to do as far as infiltration testing, stormwater design, that would outline exactly how much earth is going to be disturbed. It will be under an acre, it won't need an NPDS permit. And I think that kind of wraps it up, unless I missed something.
What about, oh, sorry. And this is, I guess, a question for our solicitor. I just thought of this. So you're going to connect that driveway for lot number 2 to lot number 1's driveway
Yes.
for access. Right now, today, everyone's family members.
You'll put an easement on the
Are
driveway.
you going to put an easement or some type of driveway access agreement or maintenance agreement or something in place so when properties change in the future and they're not all family members, there's some type of legal easement or driveway access and maintenance agreement that there's no problems, that it can continue to exist as they're going to construct it?
Right. There is a proposed easement
Oh, okay.
for the driveway access on the plans currently. So that will
missed
have
that.
to be memorialized
Okay.
in the developments and the deeds of the property.
Okay.
Would it be inappropriate for us to ask that as a condition?
It's shown on the plan already, so I think you approving it. Like, there's easements all the time that the solicitor's office and our office make sure get recorded and whatnot with the plans.
All right, well then, to confirm, all of the comments on all of the review letters, with the exception of the 2 waiver requests, will comply.
That's correct.
Does council have any comments or questions on the first one, which is the existing features? You okay with that? All right. What about the sidewalks? Mr. Walker, do you have any staff recommendation on that?
Yes, so sidewalks, well, they're required in our saldo, and then council also has an option to pay a fee in lieu of. Each case is a case-by-case basis. In this instance, the staff recommendation would to be grant the waiver. And the reason is, they don't have a driveway coming out on the county line road, and this is a minor subdivision. You know, we're not talking about a land development that meets our definition of land development with 3 or more homes. And in addition, even if you did, as Mr. Tilford said, PennDOT just improved County Line Road, and it would be a sidewalk. This is basically right in the middle between Park Road and Rose Lane, and there's no sidewalks there now. It's a family member moving into the home. They're gaining access to the existing driveway. They're not doing anything on their frontage along county line. So the staff recommendation for all those reasons would be to grant or consider granting them the waiver.
Okay. We good with that? You guys good? Well, then, is there anything else we need to do, Kelly? Or can we- Well, then, good luck.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
April 22nd, your next meeting would be
To vote on it?
to consider it, yes, sorry.
Mhm, okay, fine.
Okay?
Thank you.
And we'll see you back here. Thank you. All right, next would be to consider the bids for paving, milling, line painting, and ADA ramps.
So you have a group of bids to look at this evening. The first is paving. So we split our paving to private contractors and to our public works team. So the paving is split. When you see paving going out to bid, that is for the private contractor. So that's the private contractor side of the work. Surprisingly, we got 10 bids. We haven't seen that in years. I don't know if it's a sign things are slowing down out there, but I hope not. But we got 10 bidders for the paving. The lowest bidder was Glasgow Incorporated in the amount of $444,718.85. They did not put this in order for me. So the highest was Associated Paving Contractors Incorporated, and they were at $619,188.24. So the staff's recommendation for your consideration this evening is Glasgow Incorporated for the paving. I'll just go through them all real quick, and then you can make motions. So that's for the paving. The next one is milling. So the milling is for the Township Public Works paving project. And that too, we had almost 10 bidders for that. The highest bid was Blooming Glen Contractors in the amount of $114,500. And the low responsible bidder was James D. Morrissey in the amount of $73,983.89, which is the staff's recommendation for your consideration this evening. The next is our line painting bid, and even we had two. Haven't had that in years. It's always been one, because most line painting companies, they contract out to PennDOT, and they don't work with the local municipalities. So we were happy to get two. And the highest of the two was D.E. Gimbel Incorporated at $64,235.51. And the lowest responsible bidder was A1 Traffic Control Products at $60,642.50, which is the staff recommendation for this evening. And then the final bid was ADA ramps. We're required to update and improve the ADA ramps for any road that we repave. So that too, we got a lot of concrete contractors. 8 different contractors. The highest was Baseline Contracting Incorporated at $276,087. The lowest responsible bidder, JDC Construction Services, came in at $90,780, and that is the staff's recommendation for you this evening.
I just thought of a question before we move on.
Sure.
And vote. Do you ever have any history with any of these companies where you're like, oh, we shouldn't use these people again, but they've submitted a bid? And I know, so we go with the lowest responsible bidder. I was just wondering.
That's part of the review. So
Oh, it
not
is?
only
Okay.
not only do we look at things if we had a bad experience with them, but we also call other townships. So they had to provide references as part of their bid. So we call others that have used them. And we also, since we're in a consortium of communities, all 62 communities in the county, our Public Works Director puts it out there to everyone, has anyone used these companies before? Because if you ask them to supply references, they're going to supply you references that are going to say, yes, you know. So we reach out beyond that to check and see. We also check with Gilmore and Associates that deals with a lot of these contractors in other municipalities and in the private sector. We ask them if they have any experience with these people. So yeah, we check all that out too, in addition to the dollar amount.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Okay, then why don't we get some motions?
I move to award the paving bid to Glasgow Inc. in the amount of $444,718.85 and hereby authorize execution of the contract for the same.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next.
I move to award the milling bid to James D. Marcy in the amount of $73,938.89 and hereby authorize execution of the contract for same.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next.
I move to award the line painting bid to A1 Traffic Control Products in the amount of $60,642.50 and hereby authorize execution of the contract for same.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next.
I move to award the ADA ramps bid to JDC Construction Services in the amount of $90,780 and hereby authorize execution of the contract for same.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I really
Is
like
it-
that.
is it-
That line that you did right there. That was,
We talked about that a minute.
good job, team.
Is there any additional business? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Thank you.